Hello guys, welcome to Crown Smart. We want to find the determinant of these matrices. Okay, of course, in your basic matrix, in your basic mathematics, the way you were taught to find matrix determinant of a matrix is simply okay. Here we have the determinant of A to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Now observe that I use straight lines here, not the curve bracket here. This is because I'm finding what the determinant of a matrix. Now, of course, to find the determinant, what we do, this is a 2 by 2 matrix. So we are going to do this times this minus this times this. So this is going to be what? 1 times 4 minus 2 times 3. Okay, so 1 times 4 is 4 minus 6. This gives me minus 2. Okay, so now I want to find the determinant using Gaussian elimination method. So I'm going to form a lower triangular matrix, and this is what we are going to do. So for us to achieve this, we are going to perform row operation methods. So let's say we have the matrix A to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, I'm going to perform a row operation method. Now, the idea here is that, first of all, I'm going to rewrite this matrix to be 1, 2. Now, reason I'm writing this is because this is the first row, this is the second row. Now, in the first row, there's something we call the leading variable. So I'm going to take 1 to be my leading variable for the first row. Then I will now use this 1 to change the value of this to 0. Okay? I will use this 1 to change the value of whatever that is under it to be what? 0. And how do I achieve this? I will achieve this by performing a row operation method. So the idea is, what will I multiply to 1 and add to 3 to give me 0? That is how I'm going to form my row. So since this is row 2, I want to form, I'm going to have row 2 will be, now the idea is, what will I multiply to 1 and add to 3 to give me 0? So if I multiply minus 3 to 1 and add to 3, it's going to give me 0. So minus 3 row 1 plus row 2. Okay, now if we have minus 3 times, minus 3 times 1 is equal to minus 3, right? Plus 3, what will this give me? 0. So here's going to be what? 0. Okay, now the second one, now look at this. Now since it's minus 3 row 1, this is row 1, this is row 2, so minus 3 times 2 will give me what? Will give me minus 6, of course, plus 4. So this is minus 6 plus 4, and what will this give me? Minus 2. So I formed a lower what? Triangular matrix. So what I will do is, since I formed the lower triangular matrix, now the determinant is simply the product of this. Okay, this diagonal. So we're going to have minus 2 times 1, which is equal to what? Minus 2. And of course, you see they are the same. So let's solve for the 3 by 3 matrix, which is very interesting. So we have 1, 3, 1. B is equal to 1, 3, 1. Okay, 2, 3, 1 and 7, 0, 2. 2, 3, 1 and 7, 0, 2. Okay, so I want to perform row operation methods on this to solve for the what? The determinant. Of course, you can try this. You can try this with your normal determinant method to see if this will actually give you the value. Okay, so first of all, since this is the row, of course, when performing Gaussian elimination method, you can interchange the row, but the problem here is that when we are dealing with determinant, if you're exchanging the row, we are going to consider the sign. Okay, but I'm not sure I'm going to change the row, but let's see how it goes first. So first of all, this will be 1, 3, 1. That's the first thing we do, to write out the first row. Now, since 1 here will now be my leading variable, the leading variable is the non-zero value, the first non-zero value in a row. Okay, since 1 is a non-zero value and is the one leading in this row, I'll take it to be my leading variable. Now the idea here is, what will I multiply to 1 and add to 2 to give me 0? So what will I add multiply to 1? If I multiply minus 2 to 1 and I add it to 2, it's going to give me what? 0. Of course, here is going to be 0. So minus 2 row 1 plus row 2 will give me 0. This next one will be minus 7 row 1 plus row 3 will give me what? 0. Minus 7 row 1 plus row 3 will give me what? 0. This is when I'm forming for the row 2 part. This is when I'm forming for the row 3 part. That's forming for the row 2 and row 3. Okay, so if I do minus 7 times 1 and I add it to 7, it's going to give me 0. So I will use this row operation method. Please, the idea is, what will I multiply to this leading variable and add to the next row to give me 0? Not 0 everything here, but 0 with the corresponding value. Okay, so if this is the leading variable, what will I multiply to this leading variable and add here to give me what? 0, and add with the corresponding value under here to give me what? 0. So if we move, we are going to say that this is going to be now minus 2 row 1 plus row 2. We want to form the row 2. So if minus 2 multiplied by 1, we are going to have minus 2 plus 2 is going to give me what? 0. Now we have minus 2 times 3. Minus 2 times 3 is minus 6. Minus 6 plus 3. Minus 6 plus 3 is equal to minus 3. So I put here as my minus 3. Sorry for my handwriting. Okay, then the next one, minus 2 times 1 is what? Minus 2. Minus 2 times 1 is minus 2 plus 1. That will be what? 1 minus 2 is what? Minus 1. So here is going to be what? Minus 1. Okay, now the next one is going to be, I'm done with my row 2. So I'll look at the row 3. As to form the row 3, I'll do minus 7 times row 1. Minus 7 times row 1 is minus 7 times 1. Row 1 is this, row 3 is this. So minus 7 times 1 is minus 7. Minus 7 plus 7, this will give me what? 0. You see, I've achieved this part of getting what? 0. So the next one I'm going to do is, I'm still going to continue. Remember, I'm going to fill in all this. So minus 7 times 3 will give me what? Minus 21. Now what's the corresponding value? 0 plus 0, what will it give me? Minus 21. Okay, are you saying this now? Now the last part here, remember this and with its corresponding value. So minus 7 times 1 will give me minus 7 plus 2 is going to give me what? Minus 5. So you see, minus 5. Okay, so but we are not done. Okay, now the next thing we are going to do, I'm done with the first row, right? So I'll enter the second row. What do you think is the leading variable? The leading variable is the first non-zero value in a row, right? So minus 3 is going to be my leading variable in this case. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to rewrite this matrix again to be 1, 3, 1, 0 minus 3 minus 1. Now remember, since this is a leading variable, anything under the leading variable must be what? 0. Anything under it must be what? 0. So what I'm going to do is now to perform another row operation. The row operation is to form row 3. Okay, now the row 3 is simply, now the idea is, what will I multiply to minus 3 and add it to 21 to give me 0. Now the idea there is, if I multiply minus 7 to minus 3, I'm going to have 21. Then 21 plus minus 21 will give me what? 0. So I will multiply minus 7 row 2, because this is row 2. Remember, the leading variable, the new leading variable is in row 2, plus row 3. Okay, now if we take this operation, we have minus 7 times minus 3 plus minus 21, and of course this will give me 0 because this is minus 21. No, this is actually 21. 21 minus 21 is equal to what? 0. So here's going to be 0. Of course, if you multiply minus 7 to 0 and add it with 0, it's going to be 0. That's why I did not actually go to this point. I just went straight here. Okay, now watch. The next thing we are going to do is, since it is our row operation is minus 7 row 2 plus row 3, so we are done with this, okay. So we will now do minus 7 times minus 1. Minus 7 times minus 1 will give me what? 7. So it's going to give me 7 plus, now what is our row 3? Our row 3 is what? Minus 5. So this is 7 minus 5, which is what? 2. Okay, so I will now put here as what? 2. And of course we are done. This has formed a what? A lower triangular matrix. Now look at the diagonal of the matrix. Okay, it has formed a lower triangular matrix. Now look at the diagonal. If you multiply this, what do we have? We multiply this, we are going to have minus what? 6, because 1 times minus 3 is minus 3. Minus 3 times 2 is going to give us what? 6. So this has formed the determinant of what? This matrix, of the matrix what? B. So if you want to confirm this, you can try the other method to see whether it's going to give you what? Minus 6. Now listen, the idea, because this row operation has been confusing lots of people, and the idea here is, if you want to perform a row operation method, you have to understand that first you have to get the leading variable, and anything under the leading variable must be what? 0. So the next thing you now consider is, what will I multiply to that leading variable and add, not subtract, and add to give me 0. And of course, for you to multiply it with something and add it to give you 0, of course you may consider a sign, minus or plus, depending. Okay, so thank you very much and God bless you.